Be sure and tell them Large Margh sent ya.
I can't deal with that now.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike. Today we'll talk to you about the fantastic model FM-02 Margh. This is Fans Toys' take on a very G1-esque Ultra Magnus, and it is a white Optimus Prime in armor, which is what they did back in G1 with the toy, which is what I wanted out of an Ultra Magnus. Kind of a 2-in-1, and if we do get those 3D parts, printed parts down the road that kind of plug it in, you could truly have a 2-in-1 with this. But anyway, I did get this at Shozy Store. I'll have a link down below where you can get yours. TH reviewer code, of course, helps the channel out. But let's get into taking a look at this guy, do a bunch of comparisons, and see if he's the best. Is he worth the wait? Coming up. Alright, here's the box. Nothing really all that special. Very similar to what Fans Toys has done in the past. Styrofoam bits everywhere. It's hard to not have styrofoam bits everywhere. Nice. Yeah, looks pretty good. Shows all the different modes. And I do want to showcase that. The fact that it's actual artwork and not just the picture of the figure on the front means that this is supposed to signify a cartoon look. Fans Toys. All right, here he is out of the package. He's a pretty big boy, but not really exactly out of the package. A couple things that I've done with him since he's come out of the package is extend his height, which you do pretty much right here. You do have to kind of remove all of that, but when you undo this, and there's a lot to this dude. When you undo this and fold this out, this kind of swivels back and forth with these hips. That silver piece would go back to the back. It's how it's packed to make it shorter. This gives it that extra height. We'll see more of that in the transformation, though. But he gives him a little more height. And I thought, well, I don't really care about that. Why bother with that? But when you give him a little more height, you actually add a little more sleekness to him. So this waist area, if you leave that in, is a little bit wider. And you see kind of the flaps pushed out. So he gives him a little more sleekness to do that. It's just so many little details that they thought of, which results in one heck of a transformation, that's for sure. But this guy does look good. He is a pretty good size, and when you start dealing with stuff this size, it's hard to get it all in frame and keep it in frame. I'll try to do the best I can to keep all this in frame here. Just getting a good look at this guy. He has a really nice paint job, and that's kind of one of the things that Fans Toys does well. I mean, the sculpt is really nice. The paint is really nice. The aesthetic. You can see the bot inside armor, which I didn't realize it when I first started looking at this, but once people started doing some reviews, when I saw that it was truly a condensed down cab and the arms are part of the trailer, so it's not really the white robot arms. I mean, a lot of this stuff makes a lot of sense. It's smart, and they're really they're not copying, but they're utilizing the G1, kind of how the G1 did it, and that's smart. Also looking at it, I do like the clear windshields, although you do have an option if you don't like that to go to just kind of just all steel panels, steel looking panels. But yeah, from head to toe, the paint looks great. The aesthetic looks great. And I also want to show, like down here on the legs, even the inside of this, is the way they did it. Because it is bought inside armor, it is super clean. Like, this is the kind of stuff that it is just very, very clean. And I love that. And he is sleek. I mean, I always assumed bought inside armor was going to be thicker and fatter, and, you know, he's going to be the thickest one. And I always feel like every Ultra Magnus, and even the one that's in the Commander class for the mainline one, is just too stocky. And I think this one kind of gets it right when it comes to and keep it in frame. But it gets it right in the whole aesthetic, the silhouette, matching to the cartoon. Just, that's what they did right in it. And, you know, all this singing praises for it, we're going to do comparisons and we're going to be able to see all of it. I'm going to start with some accessories, and I want to point out that I think Fans Toys is starting to go down a road where swapping heads isn't just absolutely ridiculous anymore. And those eyes, yeah, they're painted. They look pretty good. But we're going to put this head on here. And that's, I understand it's like a comic book cover, but whether or not you're even familiar with the comic book or what they had going on in there, this head sculpt, the way they did it, I mean, it makes sense. You've got this bot underneath here, and that's the bot on the outside. That's such an awesome head. Kind of love it. And then if you want to swap these out, you can pop this off, and then you pull this off. But you have to kind of put together eyes and faces, and I'm not about all of that right now, or ever, really. I'm not one that likes to do all this with these things. Yeah, you kind of have to like shimmy it down. If you want to put the face back on, you got to kind of shimmy it back down. Like this, you're going to put the chin in. There you go. It doesn't just plug straight in. Anyhow, the rest of these heads that he comes with, you're going to have to assemble the eyes and do a bunch of weird nonsense with it, which I'm not wanting to do. But I will show them real quick. We got the eyes all on a sprue. We got faces on sprues. And I understand there's like corresponding numbers somewhere inside of here. I don't know. But you got a number, or yeah, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 to correspond to the faces, if you want to do all that. We can't really do anything with this. I don't think we can do anything with this in this mode. This is for the white prime mode. And then we have these two panels, which if you don't want the clear looking windshield, then you just open this up, pop this off, pop this one on, and get the one with the little blue stuff on the side there. That's the one that you're wanting. It fills this little gap. This is another thing that is, I say it's easy to do. It was real easy to do when I did it a little while ago. Everything's a little harder with camera. Okay, then close that up. I don't want that. I don't like that. I prefer the windows. Like, that's in my mind's eye. That's how it should be. So let's take it back to. All right, so that's how I want mine. But here's where I've got my problem. I do have an issue with it. And when I first got this, I got all excited, and I sort of was like, let me get him in his Matrix pose. Where's the Matrix? So I look around, it's not in the box. Then I go to open this up, and it's not in there. So I went and watched a couple of unboxings. Some people do unboxings, and it seems like in the unboxings, it's packed in the chest. But it's nowhere in the box, nowhere in the package. I don't know if I'm missing it somewhere, if it's just packed or somewhere stupid, and I can't find it anywhere. And so I seem to be missing my Matrix. So I'll be going through Shosey's customer support to get it. Last two accessories. We have this gun here. It is a transformable gun. You'll end up flipping it upside down for the white prime and folding this handle down, opening up this handle up here, and those kinds of things. Also, he has these keyed missiles, and they're keyed to per side because it's supposed to have this little notch up. So you can see it has a key, and you can pull this off. You can actually launch the missile out of there if you want to, and then it's a good idea. And you know, it's a good idea because A, it is vac metal, so it's a much smarter thing to do to vac metal that and plug it into this than to vac metal the whole thing and try to paint that and have it chip off. So there's a lot of detail put into this, and I like vac metal. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get into the articulation head. Of course, 360, back and forth, goes up about that high. Down, because he is a taller figure and he needs to look down. Then you can move this piece. It might knock that off. And then you can get some range here. Quite a bit of range. He's got some Saturday Night Fever going on right there. You can do that. Then if you want to, then you can put this however you want. So that is smart thinking. Always been sort of an issue with the character, and the cheapest way they always do it just slides up and down. This is much better because if you have the fact that they did it the way they did it, this works. Anyway, bicep swivel, it's no ratchet there. You do have the single jointed elbow, and then you have all these fingers splaying, but do they actually splay? Yes, they splay. And there's 1, 2, is it 3? 3 points of articulation on each finger, so that works. You got the waist swivel. Now you have to like pop it up, and you have to untab these 2 tabs that tab into the waist piece to get an ab crunch and all that. So I'm just kind of leaving it like that. I'm not going to plug that back in because you got ratchet there, because we're going to be going into transformation, all that kind of stuff. Now getting down here to all of this. Get this hip flap here up. It's tight. And then this other hip flap's already hidden out of the way. But get this going. It's on friction out to there, and it's not holding very tight. Does not hold all that tight. So this does. This is ratcheted to the front and to the back, but to the side is friction, which I'm okay with. It's kind of generally how it's done, and it's not a problem for posing. You do have double jointed on the knee, and you have some tilts on here. Is it ankle tilts? Anyhow, he's got the articulation you need, and I do believe that a lot of this has to do with bot inside armor. Well, way off there. First, I want to start by comparing to the G1, and that's the coloration of the G1. It's kind of a teal, not that blue. Looks way better, of course, and as a kid, we probably would have wanted to match this coloration instead of the teal, but I never had this as a kid, so it's no problem. No childhood of mine's being ruined here, but it does follow the same sort of concept with the white prime inside, and that still works for me. Even though I didn't have this as a kid, I always think this is how it should be. Just kind of puts out there how big the original brick was. And yeah, it's a brick, but it's a good brick. I want to show the other bot inside of armor that's a modern take. This is Magic Squares, and it is Magic Squares bot inside armor. You had the white Ultra Magnus, which nobody bought because they were like, well, I want an Ultra Magnus that has the armor, not just that. And then like 3 years later they came out with this, or 2 or 3 years later they came out with this. So that's kind of how that one went. A lot of people trashed this and bashed this, but I've had it on my shelf looking good like this for years now, and it still looks pretty good. All right, so here we go with the original Takara masterpiece right there. And then we've got the X-Transbots one right there. And I know the comparison everybody wants is the X-Transbots between them, but I have to say that there's really nothing wrong with the X-Transbots. I think that if you've got that, it's great, and it does some things really well. But for me personally, I think I'm, 100% going to have him on the main shelf. I'm not getting rid of X-Transbots, but he's going to be on the main shelf. He's going to go into alt mode because, I mean, that's probably the easiest transformation out of the 3 into alt mode. And yeah, with all of that, they all have their pluses. Easy transformation, but way too bulky in my mind. Him over here, he's got a few things going for him, but the paint and aesthetic and the slimness of Fans Toys is where it's at. I mean, remember, X-Transbots does do this.
I can't deal with that now. Ernest, human Archangel transform Autobot City. Magnus will die trying, just like Napoleon.
Yeah, it's a nice little Ultra Magnus family. Let's compare him to some other stuff that's not Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnuses. All right, now for the obligatory Prime comparison. Let's see if we can pull this in a little bit tighter. This one over here is the Magic Square, which I still think is aesthetically the most pleasing right now. This is MP44. This is KO with the silver legs, but once we get the official Prime from Fans Toys, I'll be pulling the official MP44 back out to show that off. But that's how it scales, and it works. I mean, I feel like this is a really good size scale comparison. And a comparison to Cyclonus, their Quietus. I've actually heard people say that they want to see a 2.0 Quietus, which I think is crazy. This one is as good as it's going to get. Chasing Perfection is kind of a waste of time, but this is as close as we're going to get for a long time for either of these two characters. All right, I pondered showing transformation because so many people have already done this. I'm a little late to the game here, but I guess I will still show it if it seems to turn this thing into an hour-long video. I don't know, man. Is it worth an hour-long video, but we need to get the armor off. So right now we're just getting the armor off. So we need to disengage these tabs. Pulling right from here is kind of how it's going to happen. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Let's see if we can just do that without any sort of spudger or anything. Yeah, just pull it out, push it back. You don't really need a spudger. Everybody's so addicted to those things. And then pull this up. There we go. The torso. And, you know, you could double. I'll wait till I'm done. I have a thought on these parts and pieces. Now, you do have to push up on this to untab this waist piece. You can see the blue tabs in there. That'll hold it in also. You have to come down here, undo this. Very, very tight clearance on this thing. I always feel like I'm going to scratch something when it comes to stuff like this. And we got to get down here to all of this fun stuff here. Let's get down a little more. There's a whole bunch of panels we're going to be popping loose here. Yeah, it's just opening it up to get his leg out, and then we do have a hinge right here, which I don't have it down enough. There's a hinge right here to pull this out, and then we can remove the leg and do that on the other side. Does kind of look like a scene from the '86 movie. The Junkions will need to come and repair this dude. Yeah, that's what it looks like, but we're left with old Gerwalk mode over here, and so we got to get into Mr. Gerwalk mode. First thing we want to do is get these panels out. Then we can go and do the whole crotch thing and then the rotation back to bring them down into normal mode. Now, I do want to say this. You know, I've been singing some praises on this thing, but I don't like the crotch on the white Prime, and I don't like that I don't have a matrix. So there's two negatives in my book, but I mean, it's still a pretty good figure, but those are two negatives from what I see. And yeah, the crotch is, in my opinion, problematic. You know, getting into transforming all of this fun stuff up here. Let's get this adjusted up here. Let's move it around to the back, and we're going to unplug this. And then this here also, we are going to, let's go ahead and get these flaps done on the side. Fold it up and out of the way. And then we're going to open this all up. We're going to pull this out. And then that's all going to kind of open up like this. Then see if we can get this rotated, just how that's going to work. To bring this out a little bit, we are going to do a few more things here. Open all this up, slide. We got to get the arms out of here first. That's the next thing, is get the arms out. And here comes the arms. There's a lot of steps to this. It is a little on the crazy side for this. Let's get the other arm out. Kind of like so. Now we can start forming the filler piece here that's going to make up the side of it. And there is a slider. Can the light get on that slider? There's a slider right here, so we're going to have to slide it over into place. And then fold this back flap. I'm not sure I'm getting all that. The back flap here. Fold it out. We're going to do the same thing on the other side here. Get the slider, then fold the back flap out. I really feel, can we get it better from the back here? Can we see it better from the back? I feel like my fingers are getting in the way of this whole thing. Now the reason that this is so, I would say, complicated and crazy is because the whole thing's gonna kind of explode when you make it into the truck form. Now we have to keep this all open while we mess around with the head. So we got this going on here. That slides forward. This piece comes out, and then we kind of rock all this stuff into here. Now we got the head. Flip it around into place. Then we come back around here. And we got to tuck all this other stuff in. Let's get this folded like that. Fold all that up, then we're going to slide. This is on a slider. Slide all this in to place. And this needs to be underneath that part there. It kind of holds it together. And then we can put this into place. Got to rock it into place. There we go. Now we got the back going on right there. So we're making some progress. Now we can move. All this is aligned right. We're going to need to put this into place behind here. Now we're going to have to align all of this stuff and make sure every bit and piece line up just right. Trying to move quickly on this, but still at the same time, it's like you can't move too fast transforming something like this. It's just a little bit on the crazy side of things. And push all this back in to here. So I was having a little bit of trouble closing that up because this came, let's get it in perspective. And I show this stuff to help people out. You got to make sure this has got the clearance when this goes back in all of the way. And that was an issue because I guess I pushed down on the head a little bit, so it covered that to where it didn't have the clearance. Now we can go back to where we were. Now this will close up. Now I have to admit that you're going to probably watch a lot of people that do these transformations seamlessly and perfectly. The average person is probably not going to be that perfect and seamless. It just is what it is, and understanding the kind of intent of the engineering is very helpful. Okay, these do need to rotate down on sort of a double hinge right there. Now we got to finish up these arms. So we've got a couple of weird things going on with these arms. There's another little bitty slider to get that little minute detail. And I always say this, but if you want perfect in both modes, which I don't know if the alt mode's perfect. If you want perfect in both modes, you got to pay that price. And so fold this up and then fold this around. Then we're going to need to open, darn it, open this up so that we can fold this out. And then we're going to be doing some stuff with this hand, which is kind of crazy. Oh, I didn't know. Didn't put all this back in order for the back since we're here. Let's get this back put back in order. All right, I've already shown that. There's no need to kind of show that again. Let's get into working on some other stuff here. We're going to do this gap filler. So we need to have this gap filled here. So you kind of want to bring it out a bit, then fold it into place so you don't snap anything or break anything. And then we have to bring the hand out like this. Close this up. And then we have the arm. I'm going to get the other one off camera just to save us a little bit of time. All right, here we are with the white Optimus Prime Ultra Magnus. And one last thing I didn't show is just push down on his waist piece. And I kind of felt like he's been a little unstable with the feet and all that. But he's more stable now. I think that his weight distribution is way better right now. Now, here's the gun real quick. How do we do this transformation? You fold this out, you fold this up, and This tab here, which I guess I didn't show it in the other mode, this tab is so that you can have them lefty or a righty. You put it right in the center, and you fold this up to hide it away. Getting it back out might not be as much fun. Yeah, getting it out's not that bad. All right, but now we've got his gun like this, and he can hold it. I know some people are saying, hey, they wish that he had the white gun, but it is what it is. And I wouldn't have minded having an extra gun, him having his own gun, but it is what it is. And I think that this is a prelude to what we're going to get with their Prime. First thing I want to say about this white Prime Ultra Magnus is it looks fantastic, except for the crotch. That is ridiculous. That is weird looking. I don't like it at all, but the rest of them looks fantastic. Now, maybe I'm doing something wrong, but he's got a lot of play in this hand. I think that's really strange. For it looking as good as it does, I mean, it's a lot of play in that hand. I'm sure I can get it to do any pose I want. Yeah, there's a lot of play in that hand. I'm not sure if that's something they're going to fix when they get the Prime out or what. I'm not sure if there's going to be more changes because I know the crotch looks different. I know the back looks different. Are they going to operate the hands a little bit different? I'm not sure. All right, let's go ahead and do some articulation on this guy. So head side to side up that much. That's Silverhawk head articulation, right? That's what Silverhawks need to do. And down just a bit, not too much. You do have just the 90. You've got 360 right here, and it is not ratcheted. It is, that could wear out over time, I guess. Bicep swivel is a ratchet in the bicep swivel. And single joint elbow, and then the fingers, are they as good as the Magnus fingers? I don't see a splay in them, and there's 2 points of articulation in each one, and this side is as loose as the other side. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. Waist swivel, ab crunch, magic square level ab crunch. You didn't get that level of ab crunch in the Magnus, and because the armor gets in the way. Knee, leg, all this stuff. Let's get all this flaps out of the way. You go obviously do the splits, real strong ratchet to the forward and to the back. Probably too strong for that because of the fact that it had to hold up all the armor and all that kind of stuff. And then getting these flaps back in place here. You got the knee double jointed, which is great. And then you have the foot. You got tilt down. Plenty of ankle stuff going on, rockers and all that kind of stuff. But gets the job done on articulation. Pretty much what you'd expect this day and age. Here it is next to the Magic Square White Prime option from their 1.0. And now I just, doing comparisons, I noticed I didn't flip these down. And flipping the toes, so that's something right there. I have to say that I do like the look of this better, except for the crotch. And I always felt like the Magic Square was probably number 3 out of the 3 that came out with the Transform Element and Takara all coming out at the same time-ish. But now they're Magic Square 2.0, which we're about to see, I think is an improvement. But this thing has the potential of being the best Prime down the road. You want to borrow my Matrix? I know you're missing yours. Alright, so this is Prime versus what could be a Prime and a Prime. So Magic Square, Takara, a knockoff of Takara. Aesthetic-wise, you get the idea. Look, they're all about the same size. I do like the more slender, sleeker look of this Prime. And yeah, it does, like I said, have the potential of being the best Prime down the road when they release their Prime. Here's how he stacks. You know, Robert stacks and... Okay. Anyway, here's how he stacks up next to Megatron. And yeah, that's a good size, good scale, good aesthetic. How they are going to look when we get the actual Prime. Still feels a little unstable. Well, here it is next to, let's take it down here to the G1. So you can see a lot of the similar sort of cues, but yet way different in a way. But yeah, there's the G1. Probably not the best looking G1 White Prime in existence, but there it is. Alright, getting into the Energy Axe, and it's also partially getting into the transformation in a way. We're going to tuck away the hand, and we have the energy axe connects right there. Oh, well, it did. If your thumb doesn't knock it off, right there. There we go, the energy axe. If you want to, it's not a tight connection, so I keep knocking it off, but there we go. Energy axe, and now do the other hand, and we'll start the transformation. This is quite a lengthy transformation. I don't even know what to say about it, but it's quite crazy. We're going to lift this up here. Now, if you are going straight from combined mode to alt mode, this is a step right here that we did to get to the standard white prime mode, and I think you leave it that way. I'll check back later, but I think you have to do that step, and I think people that go straight from combined to alt mode skip that step just because. But let's get into all this. All right, what we're gonna do here is open up this, and then I think I already got the ball rolling on this piece, but you open this up, fold it in, and while this is open, you can condense that down, fold that down. We get that looking like that. Let's do that on the other side. Leave this panel up. Let's get it over like so. There we go. Now, same thing over here. It's gonna look something like that, I guess, and then we're gonna get back here, undo all this fun stuff, and then lift this tab so we can get all this out of here, and then we've got a lot more work to do. Lots of work to do on this guy. So we're going to redo all the stuff not all, but a lot of the stuff that we had just done for the white prime mode. So there's, I guess, some advantages to going straight to the alt mode. I don't know. Some disadvantages too. Anyway, we're going to flip this up and flip this around. We're going to fold this up and this in so we can make the clearance, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to need some clearance going on in here. We need to get into this head here. I'm going to flip it around, fold that down and around, slide it back. Or now it's coming up. Now that piece kind of just folded. This piece here just kind of folded in on its own, but yeah, it's something you're going to have to make sure that folds in. And then we're going to be able to slide this forward. And we're just kind of redoing a lot of the stuff that we had already done before. And we need to go ahead and flip this around. And for the head to fit, it does have to kind of be pushed back like so. And that's where we're at right now with this. Now what we're going to do is put back some of the stuff that we had done before, like this piece. Fold this in, go up with it, slide it over, and get it into place. Same thing over here. Fold this, and this one's tighter than the other one. Go on the slider, get it up, fold it in. There we go. Sort of trying to keep things in perspective there. Then we are going to take this back section here, and this is going to flip around. Oh man, try to get that to go all the way around like so. And I'm going to have to adjust the camera so we can work on this the rest of the way. All right, it's good to keep things in perspective. This is where we're at right now with this. What we're going to do is put the arms in the signature what do you say, the signature Optimus Prime kind of deal. And then get them into place, which is easier said than done. There we go. We got that into place, and we need to fold this down onto here. And we got a lot more to go, so we'll be holding on to that for a bit. And then at this point, let's go ahead and flip the windows so that we can get the windows, so I don't forget. I might forget on this. Flip the windows around and we can see the windshield wipers and all that kind of stuff. Now we're going to do the other arm the same way. We're going to get into working on this section here, so we're going to fold this out and get a little clearance and push this grill in just a bit. How far in does it go? That's as far as it goes. And then we have to prepare this for the whole flip around, and we're just basically getting these pieces out of the way here. And then we're going to flip this around. And although I thought I unfolded these, maybe I didn't. And this is going to slide up. Now we're starting to take shape here. You're literally going to have to just pull it up and mushroom peg it in like that. It's not hard. And then we want to keep this. Well, we'll have to fix that too. But there we go so far with where we're at with all of this fun stuff. And now we've got to get this in place. That's going to fold over it. We do have a lot more stuff that's going to be going on with this, but try to keep it as together as I can, I guess. And then we can get this folded over and this in here. It's all starting to come together. Not really there yet, but hey, this kind of feels like that one head sculpt, you know? Anyway, fold this over, get this into here, and then this goes up. Opening door to nowhere. Get this in place, and then we have a whole lot more mess going on with this. I mean, we're almost a third of the way done. It's hard to believe. Hard to believe. All right, now we have a panel here, the arm panel that comes up, and then what it's going to do is effectively mushroom peg into here, and then you just have to kind of make everything else align into itself, but sort of made a couple other things come undone to get to this, but tighten all of this up together. Maybe open that up to get this done. I had all this before I started messing with that panel. So I got it back in place there, but it is so odd that that one little panel there can make it all misaligned, because I've got it all aligned, but then when I pull this panel out and then try to work it into the rest of it, see, it looks like it'd be super easy. It should be super easy just to pop it right in there. But there, yeah, see? It's not that hard. Got to get it all aligned at the same time. That's strange. But, I mean, it's kind of a Fans Toys thing where you got a whole bunch of stuff tapping in together at once. Then we need to have this part out, and we're going to slide the waist. And that's going to kind of seat into that. Now, if it's back on, we've got to kind of be mindful of what position it's in, because this is the position it's going to need to be in. I kind of had to like hyperextend it to get it up here to this position. And there it is. And then we are going to need to open these panels here, fold this up into here, and then this is all going to come down. It's going to meet with the rest of, I guess, the legs pieces that are going to fold up into here in a little bit. But for now, that's kind of where we're at with this. Now we're going to start on the legs. I'm going to do a leg and then come back and show the other leg. All right, we're going to play a little game called Make This Side Look Like This Side. But in the process of setting this up, I realized I didn't do the flaps. These side flaps need to go in, which is silly, but we're going to do it real quick. Just going to fold this down to get the clearance to put the side flaps in. Both sides. And then go back up here, put that back in. It's not the end of the world by any means, but got to show that. And then, so this side's pretty much there, but we're going to do all this to that side and then connect it. So let's get ready for that. All right, let's disconnect this piece right here. We need to open up this tab there, and then we need to undo some stuff here to try to get this up and out of the way. This inside flap here comes up, and then all of this is going to come up, but it's going to be dragging on a lot of this stuff. We're going to bring this one up, and then we're going to fold this around to here. And then this is going to fold down, fold this around, and we're basically going to fold this tab inside here. And then we've got a few more things to work on here. Let's get the wheels out. Rock it out with your wheels out. All right, so we're gonna get that going there. This comes out, and then through a bunch of sliding stuff, we've got this so we have clearance to do a rotation here. And then with this, we're going to be working on a whole lot of fun stuff. We have got to... I want to go ahead and get the collapsed leg. So open this up so we can collapse in the leg and then close that back up. Then we can put that back there. We're going to need to open up this tank. And this is going to fold around, and it's going to get enclosed inside the tank. And you'll know it lines up when all the tabs line up to it. And there it is. This is going to go forward here in a bit, but not right this second. We're going to wait till we do the combining of everything. And it should start aligning. It should all align like that. All right, these wheels need to flip out, rotate out, and then tab them in at the top there. Nice and tight. Still can roll. Make sure they got that clearance so they can still roll. Then we're going to come back here. This is going to fold forward. So just kind of get that out of the way right now. And then we're going to do the foot. Well, we need to get this here. Now this is something that I couldn't really find a better clearance for that, because that's a tight clearance on that one, but that's like it's the best we're going to do with that piece. It's on a bit of a double hinge, so you have to kind of double hinge it so it works, and then it can close up on the bottom there. Then we're going to work around here to the feet. As you can see, we left the feet with the other toes, so we got to correct the toes. However it happens, it's taking longer than it should. Okay, then what we're going to do is rotate this around, slide this down, and now we're going to start with some connecting of this. And then this should fall perfectly into this cavity. If not, you got to extend that slider on both sides. And then we're going to start connecting the cab in the front. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff, and things come out of alignment as you've been transforming, I'm sure. So I'm going to be closing all this up, and give me a second. I'll come back with make sure everything's aligned and do the close up. All right, just looking at a few things. A couple points I missed before we close this thing up. First off, we need to open this up. This is going to be the connector to the trailer. And then I forgot to open this. This is going to hold it together. And that is going to be helpful in getting this thing closed up. Maybe I should get this foot out of the way so we can tab that together. So it's going to help solidify this. Come on, why is it not solidifying? That's a key part of closing this up. And then as you can see, we're just pushing these forward, but now we're going to get them fully into place. And every single one of these little tabs and pieces has to notch into it. And I suggest kind of trying to get this pushed together. But anyway, let's get this side going. It's going to go up underneath there. There it goes. And then we're going to tab this in there. And then it's kind of giving up a little give. This is called give and take. I'm going to push this over to there, and this is going to go over and under. And as Fans Toys does, once it starts taking shape and clipping together, it starts to hold together pretty well. You know, granted, you have everything lined up properly all over this guy. But yeah, it's starting to take shape and look pretty good. We can fold this to the back, lift up the smokestacks, and make sure everything's tabbed in all the way around. Do I have the other tire in? And that's still tabbed in, and these things push down in the back. Mess around with these wheels, just make sure that they're in the right positions too, so that it still rolls, because it should roll. And there it is. For the most part, I'm actually kind of impressed. It's as much as we had to go through with this thing. Looks pretty good. I'll be right back with some thoughts, and we are going to do some comparisons of this to other things. All right, here we go. Just the cab by itself looks pretty decent, pretty solid. I mean, we've seen worse cabs in the past, which we're about to see. We can fold these out if you want to, and yeah, overall, nice looking alt mode for the most part. There's just so many panel lines to it. It's not smooth, but it's a nice kind of square that we got going on right there. So that works. Nice cube that it has. Just feel like you keep wanting to tighten it as we go. Look at the chrome right here, the green up there. That's nice. The red is signature red for the bumper. But yeah, there it is. I'm going to do some quick comparisons, and we're going to get on to transforming the trailer part of it. But yeah, let's do some comparisons. Here is Takara's, and the way Takara did theirs, it does disconnect from the trailer, so it's all in one. At the same time, it does form a cab only kind of situation, which is different than how this one is. They didn't have a white prime in there, but part of it just comes apart and turns into this. Now we have what Takara did later in their MP44, which I assumed would get armor down the road, and this is a KO, and yes, it's not quite all together just right, but it just shows the level of kibbliness that you have going on with it. The cab was fine, just the whole back part just full of kibble. There is a bit of kibble going on here, but nothing to the level of what Takara did. And then we bring in the Magic Square, and it's clean. So the Magic Square one still is clean, and the transformation still is a lot better. When we get to a prime, just transforming just this, not worrying about a trailer, not worrying about going to different modes, might not be as time consuming, but this is still probably an easier transformation, a more simplistic transformation than what the Fans Toys is going to be. But then again, Fans Toys has been known to look like it's the same mold, and they've copied the mold. And in fact, there's so many different parts, and it's like 80% different, and the prime probably will be that way. Now to play a little more of my game of let's take this and turn it into that. So we've got a few things going on here that we need to work on, and there's some interesting stuff that happens with this. We're going to rotate this up out of the way. We're going to slide this down to about here to get that working. And then this needs to rotate up, and it's going to get over this ridge here and lock into place. And then, well, I guess it locks in right there. It doesn't even get over that ridge. Then we're going to fold this over and flip this. Gotta get just past that. We're gonna flip that, and then the whole thing's gonna come around like this, flip this up, and forming kind of a faux part of the arm shaft. The arm shaft, don't feel like you got arm shafted there. And then we are going to pull down on this here. Oh, gotta get that red piece out of the way first. That might help this slide down and flip. That works. Then we unfold this, tab that in, bring this all back up, and then up here on this piece we are going to make, that's ratcheted, we're going to make this come up, but we have to slide it over on a slider to tab it into right here, and then we have got this more or less set up. Then we're going to take the other half that's been pre-done, and we're going to bring it together and tab it together. So there's tab, 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 slot, 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 and then we're going to put all that together and just do some tabbing real quick, but we will do more tabbing in the future. All right, I'm showing it from a different angle. We want to get these tabs tabbed together, and then tabs here, then tabs here on the rear kind of entry level area. I think this is strange that this is hanging down, but there's another tab right here. So also forgot to bring this piece down. That probably gives it a little bit more support. So I've got to get up under there and get this piece down right there. And so this back part of the trailer is pretty much ready to go. And we have the middle piece here. There's some tabs here holding this in. You got to kind of wiggle that out and then fold this inside. Bring this hip piece down, fold that up into itself, and then this is now going to be a connector where this connects to one side and this connects to another, and that's how that's going to work. All right, now for the body. We are going to need to extend these arms and then flip them around, and that's all I've got to say about that. And then we've got a bunch of stuff to do with these things. Now we're going to lift this up, and we are going to, let's get it from a different angle here. This opens up and folds around, tabs into there. All right, so configured just like this. You're going to open this up like so, and then this is going to fold around, and then it's going to clip over onto this. Coincidentally, we're doing about the same thing right here with this. It's going to go over the hand like so, and then mostly got one of these arms done. Actually, it's going to look like this, and then we're going to do that to the other side. Now it looks something kind of like this. Let's get these pushed this direction, this direction. I'm going to take care of the head before we start closing all this up, and push from the back, and then you can push this tab down, and then it will let this whole section go through here, which I guess when you go through there you can open this up, get that out of the way. See here. So these pieces here just go up and out of the way like so. Get on over there. And then this will go into here like that. This one here. Okay, make sure that this is on the inside so we can clear it if we need to when we move it. Oh, this is tab on the outside slot. There it goes. So there's still room for that to move around. Okay, now we're going to get the head through here. The head's going to rest right here. And then we need to move these. And they're real tight, so I just spent some time loosening mine. But then they're just going to go backwards like so. And this should hold into place. Open that tab out, then that will tab it into place. There we go with that. Now we can come around to the top here where we can tab this stuff together. Start bringing this together. And then with this, these can be used as kind of a stand when you don't have it connected. So that's a thing that can be used. And then we're going to connect this piece. So we got to connect this piece to it. And there's 2 slots and 2 tabs, and it's going to connect. Probably not the greatest connection in the world, but this is kind of how it's going to go. Let me see if I can... Nope, you can't even give it any pressure from the backside, but... There it is. That's connected. And then we are going to bring the whole thing together and connect it. Now to bring this other section over here around, and we're going to start with clipping it in. This part does not look like it's much fun. These are like faux arms, faux arm extenders. You got to mess with the hand being in the way too. Alright, do the same thing on the other side. Same thing done on the other side. Now we're going to line up these tabs and notches and stuff and make it all align just right. So here it is. Tab and notches and stuff. This blue piece here needs to get moved over. Flipped over. I didn't do that yet. Yeah, there's clearance still too. Good. And then let's get the other side tabbed in. Let's do one at a time. Let's do it all here one at a time. We need to get this piece in here. And then we've got this tab here. So this whole side now is done. That's how that whole side's done. Then we're going to do all the other stuff on the other side. Same old thing. Maybe we could go in a different order. Since we're doing the other side now, we can... Maybe it's easier just to, put that into there. Make sure that tab's in place. And then it should help align for... I didn't help align anything. Get the alignment go. I feel like I'm at the point where I'm going to be rubbing some paint. I really do. Alright, here we go. And then get this here. Up and out of the way. Pretty much got the trailer done. I'm going to take a quick look over it and make sure everything's tabbed in just right. But this is pretty much the trailer in all its greatness. Alright, so here is the alt mode, and overall it's a pretty nice looking alt mode. I really think that it is a little over-engineered, a lot over-engineered. We're going to see a lot of the panel lines and stuff, but still it's not bad. I mean, it's a Magnus, it's a car carrier, it's probably the longest of all of them. We're about to do some comparisons and see all that here in just a bit. But man, this is a lot of work to get here. I don't know if it's really worth it. I mean, it's not really worth it, in my opinion, because I think I want to go back to the bot mode because that's what I like the most. But getting to see it, I guess it's important to get to see it. But it is a troop transport. What does it do? Well, you've got these that come down, and you can put a car on it. Problem is, unless you're a Lamborghini, you're not clearing this. So I don't understand this part here. But the rest of it, you could just kind of stick them in there, I guess. But it doesn't clear it. Which, I'm glad that the back comes down, and I'm glad that everything holds together nice and tight. But, well, except for the connection to the cab, it's such a such a strange way they did it. Two pieces came out and created a hole together. They come together to create a hole. That was weird. So many weird things about this thing overall. Just very strange. But all right, let's go ahead and get some figures to put on it, and then get into comparisons, and then wrap it up. All right, so we have X-Transbot skids, Bad Cube gears kind of struggling to stay in there, and then X-Transbots. You could easily put another figure on top. I mean, another car mode on top. That would be fine. But when we get to comparing it to Takara has no trouble holding all of these, which is why that one's going to be my alt mode. This one will not be my alt mode one. It looks good. It's one of those things where it looks good, but is it truly usable? Is it hard working? Is it good looking but not hard working? I don't know. Well, there's a lot of work that we had to put into it, but are we going to get it out of it? Anyway, there's that. Let's do comparisons. All right, let's try to get all this on camera here. But there is the G1, and I do kind of want to show sort of the length of this. So that's where the G1 stops. And of course, it's nice to have G1. I'm sure if I messed around with it, I bet you those would also clip to the front. Also, they clip to this just a little bitty tiny post there, but it actually holds better than I thought. Everyone complained about that, but it holds better than I thought. Also, you can like put the gun right here or something like that. Yeah, let's get the original Masterpiece. Here it is next to the Masterpiece one, which will fit all these just fine. They will actually roll right onto it, vroom, 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 like they're supposed to. This is how it's supposed to work. And for that, I don't have a problem with this being my alt mode version at all. Not at all. Not at all. But looks and aesthetic wise, this still looks cleaner in alt mode too, because there's just less steps. Took like 8 minutes to transform it, and this took like, if you add it all up, over an hour of transforming this thing. I cut out as much as I could to get this as low as I could, but let's see a real quick crazy shot. Here they are side by side. Probably gonna look a little bit grainy because it's just so far away. It's all the way at the end of the table. My arm definitely wouldn't reach it, but there it is. Fans Toys Masterpiece. And in alt mode, I still prefer the Masterpiece, even though the paint level's nicer, all the massive amount of weight and die cast to this guy. The original one, I think, still fits the bill better in alt mode. Alright, so what do I think about this guy? I do think that this is the best looking one in Ultra Magnus combined mode, with the armored up mode, or whatever you want to call that. It's the winner. I think that it's got a decent alt mode, but it's still not able to accommodate the vehicles the correct way. It looks okay, but I still kind of feel like Takara wins that one. X-Transbots is nice looking too, but that one's also a pain in the butt to get there. This is a serious, you need to allocate an hour to get to this mode. If you want to do it, you don't want to break anything or scratch up too much while you're doing it. So that's the way I look at it. Now, I do think that the White Prime had a couple of issues where it just did not feel as stable as I would like, as I'm used to with a Fans Toys figure. Also, I was missing my Matrix. That's a me thing, and I'm sure that issue will get rectified. I'm not counting it against it at all because it'll get rectified pretty easy. But do I recommend this? Well, if you want a Masterpiece Ultra Magnus, it's the best looking one in my opinion, and I do want the White Prime in trailer, and that's where it's at. But I did get this at Shozy Store. I'll have a link down below where you can get yours. Remember, THN reviewer code. But again, if you have the X-Transbots and you like it, or the Chikara and you like it, I mean, it is what it is. It's all your choice. But I would say if you want this, get this while it's available. Like and subscribe to Deer Hanger out.